Matthew 18. Who is important in God's kingdom? 1. Soon after this, the disciples came to Jesus and they asked him, "Who is the most important person in the kingdom of heaven?" 2. Jesus called a child to come to him. He made the child stand in the middle of them all. 3. He said, "Tell you this. You must change and become like little children. If not, you will never come into the kingdom of heaven." 4. This little child does not think that he is very important. You must also think as he does. Whoever does this will be the most important person in the kingdom of heaven. 5. If anyone accepts a child like this because of me, that person also accepts me. 6. Jesus said, "Person who believes in me may not seem important, but you should never make that person do wrong things. Do not do that. It would be better for you if someone tied a big stone round your neck. Then you would sink deep down into the sea and die." 7. Some things in this world will cause people to do wrong things. You can be sure that bad things will happen. But God will punish the person who makes these bad things happen. 8. If your hand or your foot causes you to do wrong things, you should cut it off. You should throw it away. It is better to have only one hand or one foot and to have God's true life. It will be much worse to keep both your hands and both your feet and still do wrong things. Then God will throw you into hell, where the fire always burns. 9. If your eye causes you to do wrong things, then you should take it out. You should throw it away. It is better to have only one of your eyes and to have God's true life. It will be much worse if you keep both your eyes but then God throws you into hell. There the fire always burns. 10. Be careful. Do not think that any of these little people are not important. I tell you this. They have angels who watch over them. Those angels are always close beside my Father in heaven. 11. I, the Son of Man, came to look for those who are far away from God. 12. Think about a man who has 100 sheep. He discovers that one of his sheep is not there with the others. What does he do? He leaves all his other sheep on the hills. He goes to look for the one lost sheep. 13. And I tell you this. If he finds that lost sheep, he will be very happy. All the other sheep are safe together. But they do not make him as happy as this one sheep does. 14. God, your Father in heaven, is like that shepherd. He does not want any of these little people to be lost, not even one of them. A friend does wrong things against you. 15. Jesus said, if your Christian friend has done something wrong against you, you must go and speak to him. When you are alone with him, tell him what he has done that is wrong. He may agree with what you say. If he does, then you can call him your friend again. 16. But maybe he does not want to listen to you. Then take 1 or 2 other people with you to speak to him. They will then know what wrong things your friend has done. Remember what the Bible says, here must be 2 or 3 people to say certainly that another person has done something wrong. 2 or 3 people must agree what has happened. 17. If your friend still will not agree that he has done something wrong, then go and tell the church leaders. If he does not agree with the leaders, stop being his friend. He is like somebody who refuses to obey God. 18. I tell you this. You will tell people here on earth what is right for them to do. And you will tell them what is not right for them to do. God in heaven will give you this authority. He will agree with what you say. 19. 2 people may agree together to ask God for something. If they agree like that, then my Father in heaven will give them what they ask for. 22 or more people may meet together because they believe in me. If they do that, I will be there with them. Jesus tells the people about the servant who did not forgive. 21 Then Peter came to talk to Jesus. He asked, Lord, if my Christian friend does wrong things against me many times, how many times should I forgive him? Must I forgive him as many as 7 times for the wrong things that he has done against me? 22 Jesus replied, Do not say only 7 times. I say you should forgive him 77 times. 23 Jesus went on to say, We'll tell you a story to show what the kingdom of heaven is like. A king wanted to check how much money his servants should give to him because of their debts. 24 So the king began to check. His men led a servant to him who had a big debt. He must pay back 10,000 gold coins to the king. 25 The servant could not pay his big debt to the king. So the king said to his men, "Sell the servant and his wife and his children and all his things. Then I will keep the money to pay his debt." 26 Then the servant went down on his knees in front of the king. He said to the king, Please give me some more time, then I will pay you everything." 27 The king felt sorry for his servant. He forgave him for all the debt and let him go free. 28 But then that same servant went away and he met another servant of the king. This other servant had to pay back a debt of 100 cheap coins to the first servant. The first servant took hold of the neck of the other servant to hurt him. He said, "Give me the money that is mine." 29 The other servant went down on his knees in front of the first servant. He said, Please give me some more time, then I will give you the money." 30 But the first servant would not agree. He put the other servant in prison until he could pay his debt to him. 31 The other servants of the king saw what had happened. They were very upset about it. So they went to see the king. They told him about everything that had happened. 32 When the king heard this, he told the first servant to come to him. "You are a very bad person," the king said to the servant. "Forgave you the whole of your big debt to me. I did this because you asked me very strongly." 33 I was kind to you. You should have been kind to that other servant in the same way. 34 The king was very angry with the first servant. He told his men to put him in prison. They punished the servant there very much, until he could pay all his debt to the king. 35 Then Jesus finished the story and he said, "You must forgive your friends completely. If you do not agree to forgive them, then my Father in heaven will do like that king did. He will not forgive you." Matthew 19 Jesus teaches about when a man sends his own wife away. When Jesus had finished saying all these things, he went away from Galilee. He went to the part of Judea that is on the other side of the river Jordan. 2 large crowds followed Jesus there. He made the sick people well again. 3 Some Pharisees came to talk to Jesus. They wanted to see how he would answer their question. They asked, "And a man send his wife away so that she is no longer his wife? Is it right for him to do that for any reason he chooses?" 4 Jesus replied, "You surely have read about this in the Bible. At the start, when God made the world, he made people male and female. 5 Because of this, a man leaves his father and his mother. God joins him and his wife together. The man and the woman become like one body. 6 They are not two separate people any longer. They have come together as one person. God has put them together to be husband and wife. So nobody should make them separate." 7 Then the Pharisees said to Jesus, "Moses said that a man could write a letter for his wife. The letter shows that the man and woman are now separate. Then the man can send the woman away. Why did Moses say this?" 8 Jesus answered them, "Moses said this because you people did not want to obey God. All these things were different at the start, when God made the world. 9 Now I say to you, if a man's wife has had sex with another man, he may send her away. Then he may marry another woman. But if he does this for any other reason, he has done a wrong thing. It is the same as if he had sex with another man's wife." 10 Jesus' disciples said to him, "You say this is what it is like for a man and his wife. Then maybe it is better if people do not marry." 11 Jesus replied, "Not everyone can agree with this idea. But God has helped some people to agree." 12 There are several different reasons why a person may not marry. Some men cannot have sex. They were born like that. Some other people cannot have sex because people did something to them. Some people choose not to have sex. They do not marry because then they can work better for God and His kingdom. Anyone who can agree with this idea should do it. Jesus wants children to come to Him. 13 Then some people brought their little children to Jesus. They wanted Him to put His hands on each child's head. They wanted Him to pray for them. But the disciples told the people that they should not do that. 14 Jesus said to them, "Oh, not stop the children. Let them come to me. People must become like these children so that God can rule their lives. That is what the kingdom of heaven is like." 15 So Jesus put his hands on each of the children's heads and he prayed for them. After that, he went away from that place. Jesus meets a rich man. 16 One day a man came to Jesus. Teacher, he asked, "How good thing must I do so that I can live with God forever?" 17 Jesus replied, "Why do you ask me about a good thing? Only God is good. Nobody else. If you want to have real life, then you must obey God's laws." 18 The man asked Jesus, "Which laws must I obey?" So Jesus replied, "Oh, not kill anyone. Do not have sex with anyone who is not your wife. Do not rob anyone. Do not say things that are not true about people. 19 Love your father and your mother and obey them. Love other people as much as you love yourself. 20 Have always obeyed these laws." The young man replied, "What else must I do?" 21 Jesus said to him, "If you want to be completely good, then you must do this. You must sell everything that you have. Then give the money to poor people. If you do that, you will have many valuable things in heaven. Then come back and be my disciple." 22 When the young man heard this, he went away. He was not happy. He was feeling sad because he was a very rich man. 23 Then Jesus said to his disciples, "What I say is true. It is very difficult for rich people to let God rule in their lives." 24 The hole in a needle is very small. A big animal cannot go through it. But I tell you, it is even more difficult than that for a rich person to let God rule in their life. 25 When the disciples heard this, they were even more surprised. They said, "Oh, perhaps God will not save anyone." 26 Jesus looked at them and he replied, "Or people, it really isn't possible. But God can do it. God can do everything." 27 Peter said to Jesus, "Look, we have left everything that we had. And now we are your disciples. What will we receive because we have done this?" 28 Jesus said to his disciples, "Tell you this. One day God will cause all things to become new. I, the Son of Man, will sit on my great chair as king and I will rule that new world. You who are my disciples will also sit like kings on rulers' chairs. You will judge the people of the 12 families of Israel." 29 Some people have left their home. Or they may have left their brothers or sisters. Or they may have left their mother or their father. Or they may have left their wife or their children or their fields. They have done that because of me. God will give those people many more things than they have left behind, even 100 times more. And after they die, they will live forever with God. 30 But many people who are very important now will become the least important. And many people who are not important now will become very important then. Matthew 20 Jesus tells a story about some workers in a field. One Jesus said, "We'll tell you a story to show what the kingdom of heaven is like. There was an important man who had a field where he grew grapes. He went out early in the morning. He wanted to find some people who would work in his field. 2 The master agreed with the workers that he would pay them 1 silver coin for a day's work. Then he sent them to work in the field. 3 The master went out again about 3 hours later. He saw some other men standing in the marketplace. They had no work to do. 4 So the master said to these men, "Who also go and work in my field. I will pay you the right amount of money." 5 So the workers went to the master's field and started to work. The master went out again at noon, and he went again 3 hours after that. Both times he sent men to his field to work. 6 2 hours later, at 5 o'clock, he went out again. He found more men who were standing there. And they had no work to do. The master asked them, "Why are you standing here all day and you are not working?" 7 The men said to the master, "Abadi has asked us to work for him." So the master said to them, "Who also go now and work in my field." 8 Then the evening came. The master of the field went and spoke to the man who watched the workers. He said to him, "Tell the workers to come here. Pay them their money. Begin with the workers who started to work at the end of the day. Finish with the workers who started first." 9 The workers who had come to work at 5 o'clock in the evening received 1 silver coin each. 10 The workers who had come first to work thought that they would receive more than the other workers. But each of them also received 1 silver coin. 11 When they received their money, they were not happy. They told the master that he had not been fair to them. 12 They said to him, "All of these other workers came last and only worked for 1 hour. But you have paid them the same money as you paid us. And we have worked all day in the hot sun." 13 Then the master said to one of the workers, "Why, friend, I am being fair to you. You agreed to work for 1 day and to receive 1 silver coin. 14 Take your money and go home. I choose to give this last man the same amount of money as I gave to you. 15 It is my money. I can choose what to do with it. I want to be kind to people and give them more. Does that make you upset?" 16 Jesus went on to say, "Oh, one day, those people who are not important now will become the most important. Those people who are very important now will become the least important." Jesus talks again about how he will die. 17 Jesus and his disciples were going towards Jerusalem. As they walked along, Jesus took his 12 disciples away from the other people where he could speak to them alone. 18 Istan. He said to them, "Ye are going to Jerusalem. There, someone will deliver the Son of Man to the leaders of the priests and the teachers of God's law. These Jewish leaders will decide that I must die. 19 Then they will take me and they will deliver me to people who are not Jews. They will laugh at me. They will hit me with whips. Then they will kill me on a cross. But after 3 days, I will become alive again." The wife of Zebedee asks Jesus for something. 20 Then the mother of James and John took them to see Jesus. Their father was Zebedee. She went down on her knees in front of Jesus. She asked him to do something good for her. 21 Do you want me to do? Jesus asked her. She said, "Nide, you will be king. Then I want my 2 sons to rule with you. One may sit at your right side and the other one at your left side. Please, will you do this?" 22 Jesus said to them, "You do not understand what you are asking for. I will have much pain and trouble. Are you ready to have the same pain?" James and John replied, "Yes, we can do that." 23 Jesus said to them, "Yes, that is true. You will have pain and trouble like mine. But I cannot promise that you will sit at my right side or at my left side. My Father God has chosen who will sit there. He has prepared the places for those people." 24 When the other 10 disciples heard about this, they were angry with the 2 brothers. 25 Then Jesus told all the 12 disciples to come to him. He said to them, "You know the things that rulers of other countries do. They show that they have great power over their people. The leaders of those countries use great authority over their people." 26 But you should not be like that. The person who wants to be great among you must become your servant. 27 The person who wants to be the most important person among you must work hard for everyone else. 28 Even the Son of Man himself came to earth to be a servant to other people. He did not come here to have servants who must work for him. No, he came to die so that many people can be free. Jesus causes 2 men to see again. 29 Later, Jesus and his disciples were leaving Jericho. A large crowd of people followed him. 32 men were sitting at the side of the road. They were blind. But they heard that Jesus was walking past them. So they shouted, "Master, Son of David, please be kind to us and help us." 31 The people who were in the crowd were angry with them. They told them that they should be quiet. But the men shouted even louder, "Master, Son of David, please help us." 32 Jesus stopped there. He asked the 2 men, "Do you want me to do for you?" 33 The men replied, "Ye want to see again." 34 Jesus felt sorry for the 2 men. He touched their eyes and immediately the men could see again. So they followed Jesus along the road.